I find myself, and I hope this is just not my own version of ideological confirmation, self-confirmation, is I find myself looking for nuance. I find myself attacking what I call binary politics, that this side's right, this side's wrong. Let's try to figure out the elements, and I'll give you an example of that. And I don't know if this is going off on a tangent for you, but look at the war in Ukraine right now. What I find is there's certain ideological, binary-oriented ideological American leftists who are saying NATO's to blame. You know, they look at the history, they look at the attempted encirclement of the former Soviet Union, and they say, well, Putin is reacting to what the West is doing. And therefore, they end up condemning the West rather than condemning Putin. And I look at this, my first response is, are you telling me that it's right for Putin to invade Ukraine and drop all these bombs on people and do what he's doing? And they don't want to go there because it doesn't fit their binary ideological situation. Instead, you know, my position on this is, well, it's terrible what Putin is doing. And I don't blame the Ukrainians for trying to defend themselves. And I don't blame them for asking for arms. And I don't think it's wrong for the United States to be supplying, and for European countries to be supplying them with arms to defend themselves. But the reasons that the Europeans are giving for defending Ukraine, they may be doing the right thing, but they're doing it for the wrong reason. And they're doing it within a bad political context. It is really hard to find real good guys in this situation. And that, you know, I used to have a little mantra that I would occasionally, I try to recite to myself, which is see shades of gray, but act anyway. But it's difficult. What you find is, and I'm going back to my parents' case and my own experience, is that when I went out to, quote, reopen my parents' case in the 1970s, I ended up speaking to a lot of people who were active in trying to save my parents in the 1950s. They were my parents' generation. And the minute I began to raise a question that Julius might have done something, you should have seen the rush for the door of some of these folks. It didn't matter that they didn't do the thing they were killed for. It didn't matter that they were demonized. It didn't matter that, you know, all these things that happened to them and that were wrong, all of a sudden didn't matter because they weren't pure. The binary nature of trying to set up angels and devils, and that's the role that propaganda plays, because what it does is it takes whatever gray area it is, and depending upon what propaganda you want, is it moves it to the right if you're a right wing, and it moves it to the left if you're a left wing.